communicate. Yeah, like great. I just got on to him Tuesday night about not bringing home his homework. Yeah, I'm like, I just did the exact same thing.
You did the same thing, you just got
so
up your
I'll fess up to him this morning. Okay, I made a mistake. I forgot my thing. So.
Well, I didn't start off too good. After we get done seeing you, we have like a little cheat day type of thing. And I was like, okay, I'll take a couple of days, I'll be good. And I was willing to, 5 pounds, but I only gained 3. I was like, okay, that's good. And then next door, they were bringing in, the city had gave them a citation for their back fence, and so they had to replace all of the back fence there. Well, this guy, when he used to live over there, he had made a hole between the 2 properties, in the fence line, and they just kind of put a couple of pieces of plywood there and called it good. I put a barrier on my side. And so when I saw them working back there, I didn't want him breaking through that barrier, so I put a second layer of barrier. Well, the problem is when you get back there, you're in the bushes and everything, and I got attacked by bugs, and I had all these sores all over my neck and whatnot. Started gaining weight, and I was like, okay, probably the bug bites, That was healing up, and then I got sick to the point where everything was swelling on me. I was doubled over in pain. He was debating doctor versus hospital type of thing. By the time I got through with all of that, I was up to 230, which is like, well, I was 217 the last time I was in here.
Right. So you breached your ceiling.
Yeah, and I was like, no, can't be doing this. I finally got it to stop. And of course, right after that, just when that happened, diet bet started, and I wanted to be at 221 when I started the diet bet, or no higher than 221. And here I am at 230, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I was just so frustrated, and I worked my tail off, and I to my surprise, I actually made it. Actually, the morning of, I wasn't doing it. I was going down, but not quick enough.
Right.
And so that morning, I stood on the scale, and I'm like, I made it. I'm surprised. So let's quick take the picture before I forget, And right after that, I started gaining a weight, and I get up to 224, go back down, 224, go back down. So this morning I was 224 again. So.
All right. So for the most part, you're holding the line a little bit. I mean, you're gonna have. I mean, that's very common. It's very typical for patients to gain back weight. Nobody's immune. Even bariatric surgery patients gain back some weight. So I've never seen a patient not bounce around once they hit a certain weight, and when we put them into maintenance, they start bouncing around a little bit.
Okay.
It's very common. Where you have to be able to put that line in the sand is a comfortable weight where you say, I'm not tolerating a certain weight where I want to go. For you, it was 230.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, if you look at it from that perspective, you're still 73 pounds down from where you were, right? So that's a plus, right?
Right.
And I know it's not where you ultimately want to be, and so that's why you continue to do like diet bet and still try to progress to get to where you want to go. Right. So you have to kind of be able to put that line in the sand of what's tolerable, but as you move that spectrum down, so let's say that you get to 210, right? The line of the sand's got to be 215.
Right.
217. You get to 200, line of the sand is 210. So every time that you drop, you've got to lower your ceiling.
Right.
Right? And that way you don't go back. Because it's very, very easy to say, well, I'm still 73 pounds down, 230 is okay. Next thing you know, you're 240. Well, now I'm 63 pounds down. That's okay. So it's what you volume is that volume of weight loss that you want to maintain.
Yeah.
Right? Where I start seeing issues is when people start raising their ceiling, right, to that point. Next thing you know, they start saying, well, what's the point? I'm not going to maintain it anyways. Next thing you know, they're right back to where they started.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to really put that line in the sand that's not going to be crossed, not going to be breached, not going to be tolerated, and then that keeps you in check.
Yeah.
Right, the whole time.
Yeah.
And it keeps you. You also have to have a goal.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just have a ceiling. Right, because you'll do nothing but hover in that range, and you'll go up to the ceiling, and keep bouncing back down.
Right.
So you may go to the ceiling and drop down to here. go to the ceiling, drop down to here, but you're not getting to here.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So every time you move, you gotta lower the ceiling.
Right.
Right? And that's what's important to understand.
Yeah, that's it's like according to my chart I should be 208. And so my ceiling, I don't want to be any more than my, like at 10 pounds over, so 218 should be my ceiling.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm 224, and I was just,
right. But you gotta but for 2 months though, you kind of hung in there, right? But that ceiling is an important element, because what I would have hated to see is you in over here at 230, right? Because then I'd be worried. For 2 months you gained 13 pounds. I mean, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah, and I didn't want to in the first place. I was trying to prevent it.
Right. I mean, we 4 or 5 pounds over 4. I'm like, all right. Well, we're creeping a little bit, but let's keep an eye on it, and because I understand there's gonna be fluctuation because constipation or hormones or whatever it is, but the reality is we want to stay fairly close to that weight, plus or minus 5 pounds.
You're right.
10 pounds is a little too much. But 5 pounds is okay, because anything over 5 pounds is considered abnormal weight gain.
Yeah.
So you're close.
Yeah.
So just kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's the kind of, it's like I didn't understand why it was happening, because I was trying so hard to be good.
Right.
But then I realized, well, I've been sick, I've been bit by bugs.
Well, and all that plays in. Those are what we call life events.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are what we call life events, because repetitive life events derails you from your habits, and when those habits are derailed, then it's hard to get back in.
Yeah.
Right? Because the next thing happens is another life event.
Yeah.
Right? But the reality is you still have to eat.
Yeah.
Right? You don't always have to, exercise is an important element for health, and we understand that for general health, but the reality is you gotta make time for it. You gotta have energy to it, right? To be able to make that happen. You don't have to make time to eat. You don't have to have energy to eat. It's something we have to do. So it's making a choice that, what?
And just behave yourself in the eating.
Exactly. Exactly. Behave yourself. Doesn't mean that you can't, have those off days. It just means you need to have more on days than off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what's important.
Well, this is like this year's, my mom's birthday came up. She's 76. So my sister had a birthday party for her over at White Fence Farm. Have you ever been there?
I've never been there. I've had patients that go there.
Oh, it's good. What I like about them is it's served family style.
Right.
Instead of getting a plate with a whole bunch of food on it, you get a plate, like you get a little itty bitty plate, and they have all these appetizers, and you're talking cottage cheese, beets, coleslaw. They do have the little cornbread, kind of like hush puppies. But they just have all these little things, so you can just beans, like a kidney bean salad, and you can put them on your plate, and eat them. And then when you go to order your meal, depending on what you order, depends on how it's going to come to you. Like usually, if you order like a 4-piece chicken, and say your whole family, everybody in your family is going to have a 4-piece chicken, they'll put the chicken all in a great big bowl.
Right.
And you just take what you want out of that, and then take the rest home. I ordered pork chop because the chicken's usually fried and all that kind of stuff, and this pork chops look like the safest thing. Plate this big, and I have 2 pork chops to carry. I'm like, oh my gosh, I ate like a portion about this big of it, and the rest of it, of course, went home. And you got a choice of baked potato or mashed potatoes. I took baked potato. Michael's like, why? You can have mashed potatoes. They're good. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know what they put in it. Baked potato is just that. It's just a potato, and a little bit of sour cream. So I ate half a baked potato, and it was a small one. So I had half of that, called it good. And in ground they had a piece of birthday cake, so I had a small piece of that. But that was it. And so that's the reason why I like it. And they got kind of like a petting zoo there, so you can go check out all the animals and stuff like that. They got carriages that you can ride in and stuff. So it's kind of a fun place for the family. But so we went there, and then but he couldn't go because he had work. So my mom's birthday was actually on a Tuesday, which is his day off. So we had our own little birthday party for Mom, and what we did is, there's a cupcake place on the way to her house, and I'm going to drive to her place, and she knows about that cupcake place. She says, you got to pick me up some lemon cupcakes. So I went over there and I bought her 4 lemon cupcakes, and then I got me a sugar-free lemon strawberry one. It had actual strawberries or raspberries, excuse me, raspberries in the batter. It was really good. And then he got himself a cupcake. So I said, well, cupcaking isn't that bad. And then she took us to Sweet Tomatoes, which is always a good place to go. And she goes, well, what do you do there? And I was like, I just fill up on all the vegetables, and then if I want something in the kitchen, it's sort of a small serving. It's all good. So that was our, big thing change. Halloween's always, that's always a disaster. But as soon as Halloween's over with, he takes all the candy and he hides it. Except he didn't do very good because we went to sit down and I watched Doctor Who. I looked down, there's the bag of chocolates right there.
Yeah, it wasn't the chocolates.
We're eating the chocolates.
It wasn't the chocolates in there.
Yeah, it was the chocolate bars were there.
I know the other candy was there,
yeah,
but not
the
the
chocolate bars were there. That's the reason why I told you had to go try and hide them again. And then Michael had to make that rescue mission to Texas, and that was a bit, emotional. And then our latest thing that's his hours got changed, which is messing up my hours, and so things got kind of messed up. And then I started a class at church, Bible study class, and normally it's not a big deal thing. You get this book and you answer some questions, you watch a video or a movie, and then we talk about it, and that's usually the extent of it. You might have to do an hour's worth of studying during the week, and that's it. Well, they changed. We finished up one course, we started another one, and this one's a very intense, dig deep thing, which I was kind of glad because with my disability, I have trouble reading, retaining information, processing information, memory. It's all lost. So this was really good because it's a lot of dig deep type of stuff.
Yeah.
But the problem is what would take you 20 minutes to do would take me 2 to 3 hours. And they said, 20 minutes a day, no problem. For you. So I have, I got this notebook that's real thick, and I'm writing all my notes. Well, I filled that up, and I'm on the next one, about halfway through that. Just trying to dig into it. And next week is our last week on that. So that's digged into my, working out time and getting everything else done.
So it's a it's a mental, mental memory type stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's been stuff that's come up, and I'm like, where did this come from? And thankfully you got something called Google, so I can look it up and get some information. So we had that, and then this guy pulled an interesting stunt this last week. Love you.
It wasn't a bold stunt.
He was having trouble walking. His hip's been giving him lots of trouble. Went to the doctor and found out he's got arthritis.
They actually said spinal stenosis.
Yeah. And so.
Whereabouts?
Right hip area.
These are the right hip and this part of the spine type of thing.
It's very, anyway, what the doctor said, very close to the spine.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this pressure on all those nerves.
Yeah, and so the doctor gave him a note saying, you can work for 40 minutes, sit for 20 minutes type of thing. So he took his little note to work, and they sent him home with a pile of paperwork, and we had to go to the doctor's. Doctor looked at what he has to do for the day. You can't go back to work. And I'm like, so he's off for a month on medical leave to see, and the doctor's going to be doing tests and therapy and all this other stuff, seeing if we can't fix the problem. Otherwise, we have a problem.
Right.
And so I'm kind of like small case of panic here, because he is the breadwinner.
Right.
I make some money, but not enough for us to live on. It's more like the more fun money.
Right.
What I refer to as fun money, and so I've been working desperately to get my stuff with Google straightened out so we can do the YouTube thing and I've been hitting people trying to find out how to get sponsors, and so we, do my eventual goal thing, which is get on the road with what we're gonna do.
Do you have any have you had any change in your medications since the last time?
No.
Okay. No significant health change besides getting some bug bites and all that.
No, just the bug bites, and then I got sick for about a week where I was all swollen and hurting and stuff like that. Still a little swollen.
Any GI issues?
GI issues.
Constipation, continuous constipation.
I had a short spout of that for a while, but it's starting to clear up.
Okay.
That was during that when I got up to 2:30 and I kept feeling like I had to go to the bathroom and couldn't, type of thing. I think what else? On the most part, I've been trying to stick to the diet as close as possible.
Okay.
I did make a whole bunch of chili, but my chili is safe, so.
Okay. Let's get your weight. Let's see where you're at. I want to get your blood pressure today too.
Okay. You're okay, Lopez. And this guy may end up being ours. The family they got a place to live, but she's not sure she can take it back. Oh, I don't know my shoes on. 15 pounds later, right?
Yeah, we're some new tests that came out. I'll give you this information. Unbelievable. This came out with a genetic test.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Goodbye.
It's ready.
Balance.
223.
223.0 pounds.
So you're right there at that 5 pound mark.
Okay.
Alright.
What am I for? Lower.
Yeah.
Oh. So what's this?
I'm just giving
DNA testing?
Yeah, it's kind of more of an issue to find out what kind of explains a little bit more in regards to specific dietary compositions or exercise routines, all that kind of stuff. Cravings.
It's down here. You're having issues, aren't you?
I just didn't want to step on his tail. Alright, we'll just let you relax. Right there, my arm. 137/90. A little high.
I haven't been that high in a while.
You said no change in your medications?
No.
Okay.
I guess I ought to start doing my daily check on the blood pressure, so
Yeah.
Because of I got a doctor, I'm gonna need a refill here pretty soon.
Okay.
And that could be because of that swelling I've been dealing with.
Yeah, a little bit, especially but also if you got a little bit more salt in your diet.
I shouldn't. What? I don't put salt in the chili.
I know. Yeah, there's different things it could be.
Alright.
Yeah,
Well, let's do this. Let's see you back maybe closer to mid-January.
Okay.
You need to be below 223.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
My goal right now is 228, so probably I'll be pushing for that for sure.
218?
You mean
or
218?
208 is
208,
is
okay.
where I'm supposed to be, and that's what I'm going to be pushing for.
Pushing
but
towards
because what you came out with was
I may not make
228.
it.
Yeah, what you said was 228. I'm like, no, let's not gain 5 pounds.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to gain.
208.
Yeah, let's not gain.
That's why we both kinda.
Yeah.
Okay.
So get back to it. You know, that's a 8, that's 10, that's a 15-pound drop in 2 months.
I probably won't make that, but
Yeah,
you know,
I think
we're pushing for it,
you
so.
need to be with the holidays. I think it's realistic for you to be under 215.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's what you should strive for, as much as you need. Questions for me?
Swelling?
Swelling in where?
It's like a.
Peripherally?
Yeah, it's just like I can feel swelling. Yeah, this one doesn't look.
That one I would probably talk to your internist about, because I don't know. I mean, could be a couple different things, but I think your internist might want to look at something else.
Yeah. I do have a thyroid doctor appointment next week on Friday.
Okay.
And they'll probably be taking a blood test, which I will.
Have them. You're all circle. When's the last time you had like your full panel done? Has it been over a year, or has it been a year, or has it been 6 months? Besides your thyroid. Like
It might have been a year.
All right.
I don't know.
Those are the things I'd want.
Okay. So I will take it. Okay. I will give that to her. You got your information on here.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
So when I go in for, yeah, 'cause I told them about how I have a thyroid test, or every time I go to see the thyroid doctor, she wants me to do a blood test.
Good.
So, but yeah, this is kind of give you an idea what my weight's been doing.
You're naturally always going to be heavier in the evenings, like I mentioned that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is more of a watch what I eat so I don't get over.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just kind of remind myself. It's a good way to remind me not to get over a certain weight. So.
Right.
But
So let's work, because it looked like for the last 2 or 3 weeks you've been hovering right around 223, 224. So let's strive to get under 215 if possible by mid January. Let's see here. You guys staying here?
yeah, we're not going anywhere. Whoops.
Let's see here.
Thingy slipped on me.
Excuse me. All right, let's take a look here.
It's harder for him.
If I go 7, let's go to 15th to the 22nd. Let's go to the 22nd.
22nd of January.
Yeah, gives you a couple weeks after the holidays.
Recoup a little. Okay.
I am wide open. So you want to do 10?
Okay.
I only got 2 other patients booked that day, so it'll be number 3. When was the last day you were in here, remember?
Give me a second. It was 2 months ago.
So it was in September?
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was September or August. Who's your internist or your primary care?
Dr. Cook.
Okay, and how long have you had Dr. Cook?
I guess, well, him particularly, probably about a year.
Okay.
But I've been going to the same doctor's office for like 16 years.
Oh, okay. All right. And that's over in Alton, Aurora?
Yeah.
Well, I gotta go tomorrow.